Spoilers, they be about the place. Well everyone, it's time to head back to Camp Crystal Lake again for the 5th entry in the Friday the 13th series, even though the last part was called the final chapter. Yeah, never believe a horror series that puts final chapter or any sort of ending in their title. It's always bullshit. So what exactly is the new beginning? Is Jason back about the place? Or is this film about to pull a Halloween 3 and have nothing to do with Jason at all? Well, let's don our hockey masks and pick up our machetes as we take a look at Friday the 13th, A New Beginning.
Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning.
Our movie film begins with Tommy Jarvis from the last film, wandering through the woods at night when he comes across Jason's grave. Some random lads show up and decide it's a smart idea to just dig up Jason's grave. As you do, I guess. But Jason comes back to life and kills both these lads before rising from the grave. And scares the bejesus out of poor Tommy boy. Jason then decides to take a swing at Tommy, and the force of it causes him to wake up as a 20-year-old lad in the back of a cop car. I'm just going to have to pause it here for a second and say thank you to the slasher film gods that finally, after 4 films, this 5th one didn't start with a damn recap of the previous 4 films. Seriously, that is a massive plus for this film. Now, let's get back to the movie film. So clearly, we are now a few years after the final chapter, and Tommy is all grown up, and being brought to a halfway house due to the trauma he suffered from dealing with Jason as a kid. So wait, this film isn't even set at Camp Crystal Lake. Already, that's a bit of a warning sign. The assistant director Pam meets him and brings him to meet Dr. Matthew Letter, who runs the place. Tommy has gone from an interesting, playful kid in the last one to this totally broken, quiet lad. I mean, it's an interesting choice, I guess. Dr. Letter explains to Tommy how they are there to help him to stop being such a weird boy and to get back out there in the big bad world with the rest of the normies. Tommy goes to his room and hides a feckin' knife under his bed. Yeah, because it was such a good idea not to check the dodgy lad for weapons first. He also gets scared of this stupid thing. This is Reggie, who thinks he's something funny, but Tommy will show him. I will say that it's a nice touch that they kept that Tommy is big into horror monster masks. That is a nice callback to part 4. Reggie is well impressed by them too, and we learn his grandfather works here in the halfway house. The cops show up with 2 more kids who live at the halfway house. These 2 horny ones are Eddie and Tina, so everyone of course gathers around to see them, and then these 2 random rednecks show up. This Bjork called Ethel wants the place closed down because the 2 teens were having a spot of riding on her farm, and she's having no more of their shite.
Now, I'm gonna tell all of you. You mark my words. The next little bastard comes near my farm, I'm gonna blow your fucking brains out. You hear me? Don't you come near me, Sheriff. I warn you. I got a bomb on me. I swear to you.
What a random introduction for a character. Anyway, it's time to watch this lad Vic chop some feckin' wood. While Joey here horshes some chocolate into himself before going over to ask Robin and Violet do they want a spot of chocolate. Jesus, all this poor lad wants to do is help someone out.
If that's how you feel, forget it. I'll just go help somebody else instead. I'll see you later.
So he walks over to the totally stable Vic to ask him does he want some help and some chocolate. But Vic wants none of it. So Joey says the cruelest thing ever.
But I think you're really out of line.
And ends up getting a fucking axe to the back for his troubles. What the fuck? That was so out of nowhere. Later on, paramedics and cops show up, and Dr. Letter tells the sheriff that poor Joey was an orphan who had no family. And this paramedic doesn't seem to be able to do his job and just pulls the sheet right off the poor lad, which his partner Roy is not happy about at all. I wonder what that was about. Later that night, these 2 greaser lads are having a spot of car trouble, and one of them decides to go off for a shite.
I gotta take a crap. Crap my ass! Just do it, man.
A random character who has just been introduced and goes off into the woods alone. Well, we all know where this is going. But before that, his friend back at the car gets a feckin' flare in the mouth. God, that is such a horrible way to end up dead. The other greaser comes back and doesn't even notice his friend is dead. And for that, he also ends up killed. Back at the house, Tommy is popping pills like a mad bastard and seeing Jason about the place. This lad isn't right in the head at all, is he? That morning, we meet Reggie's grandfather, as all the characters decide to have a nice sit down for a spot at brekkie, but Violet is such a dope, as she set a place for the dusht lad too.
Don't think Victor and Joey will be joining us this morning, Violet.
Or any other morning.
Dr. Letter comes in and tells them all to relax and to forget about it all, and just to stuff their faces with some food. He tells Tommy to go off and get Eddie, but then this happens. And Tommy isn't happy about this at all.
What's wrong? No sense of humor? Can't you take a joke?
Jesus, that was an unreal attitude adjuster. John Cena would be fucking proud. Later that night, this lad is doing some donuts in the car park when this Buer comes out. Wow, that is not what I thought the driver would look like. So, this is Lana and Billy, who seem to have a bit of a thing going on. They are such an odd looking couple. Also, why are they even in this film? Lana goes to get ready as her and Billy are heading off to a party, and when she walks out of the bathroom, someone throws a feckin' cat at her. Meanwhile, Billy is so impatient that he's screaming his head off, and the killer seems to like their quiet time, so he makes Billy shut up forever. Lana comes out and can't find Billy anywhere, so just decides to hop in the car. She finds the coke Billy had been at, but there is oddly no blood at all, even though he was killed inside the car. Anyway, she ends up getting an axe to the gut. Kind of random, as these people had nothing to do with the other characters, much like the greaser lads. The next day, the mayor is freaking out at the sheriff about all these bodies they are finding about the place. And then the sheriff drops this bomb on him.
I know who it is. Oh. It's Jason Voorhees.
But the mayor is having none of that shite.
Jason Voorhees? You're out of your fucking mind. You've been out in the sun too long. Jason Voorhees is dead.
Yeah, because the mayor knows that when a studio puts the words final chapter on the previous film, you know 100% that the lad is dushed. No way at all that he could ever come back. He does say Jason was cremated though, which is not going to line up with the next one of these films at all. But we'll get to that. Anyway, back at the house, Eddie and Tina are off in the woods having themselves a spot of riding, but get creeped on by this perv. And the killer of this film hates pervs, so they kill this lad. But you know what they hate more than pervs? People having a spot of riding. So he goes and kills these two as well. And I know it's watered down, but at least Eddie gets a somewhat creative kill. I mean, who thinks to do that? That night, Pam is bringing Reggie into town to see his brother Damon and tells Tommy he might as well hop in too for the spin. Oh shit, Reggie's brother is fucking Joanna Man. We also meet his girlfriend Nina. They all share some tasty enchiladas while Tommy the big weirdo bumps into this inbred hillbilly who starts a fight with him. But Tommy knows fucking kung fu, so he beats the absolute shite out of him. And it looks like Tommy is about to end him, but Pam comes running to stop him just in time. Tommy runs off into the woods like the freak he is, and Pam and Reggie give chase. But back in the van, the enchiladas are not agreeing with Damon's stomach at all, so he has to go and wreck a toilet. But then the damn thing starts to shake. But don't worry, it's only Nina messing with him. And now, for no reason at all, these two start singing to each other.
Ooh, baby, ooh, baby.
Hey, baby.
What the fuck even is this film at this point?
Baby, ooh, baby, ooh, baby.
Oh god, it's just so cringe, just please let it end. Thankfully, the killer puts an end to it by killing Nina and then sticking it to Damon too. Pam and Reggie get home, but find out from the others that a ton of people are feckin' missing. She tells them all to head inside so she can go off and find out where the hell everyone is. Over at the annoying redneck house, Junior is having a fit driving his bike about the place, while his owl lady is making his dinner for him. This is so goddamn annoying, but the killer thankfully puts a fucking end to his yelling. He also helps his owl lady finish off her cooking. Meanwhile, Pam is out and about looking for that big weirdo Tommy, when for no reason at all her car breaks down. Jesus Christ, this is getting worse and wasting so much time. Back at the house, this Jake lad works up the courage to ask Robin if she wants to go for a spot of riding, which she just laughs at. And then the poor lad runs off upstairs and just gets killed. What a fucking awful night for that lad. Robin decides to go upstairs, and there is somehow no blood for her to find, even though Jake was killed up there with a damn butcher knife. This killer is unreal at cleaning up after themselves. Anyway, she walks around with her top off for a bit, and then gets murdered. Can you tell me a single thing about her character? Nope. Neither can I, but let's move on to the next kill. Over in her room, Violet is busting out some moves. What the fuck even is she at? She'd for sure lose a dance-off with Jim from part 4. Anyway, the killer comes in and puts a stop to her dance moves. Reggie goes looking for Tommy and finds all these dushed bodies in his room. Fuck, is Tommy our killer? And then this unreal bit of acting happens.
What is it, Reggie? It's Pam. What's the matter? What's the matter? It's me. What is it? What is it?
Jesus Christ, that was shocking. She finds the bodies in Tommy's room and is like, fuck this, let's get the hell out of here. So the two run out as fast as they can. But feckin' Reggie just trips and out of nowhere, fucking Jason Voorhees himself shows up. Jesus, it was Jason all along? I thought that lad was dushed. But hey look, he has blue marks on his mask instead of red. I bet you that's going to be important. Reggie and Pam leg it into the woods for what seems like an age, until they stumble across an ambulance and find a dead paramedic. But then Reggie legs it away like he's trying to win a damn race, and Pam follows, but Jason just slowly walks after them. Come on now, there'd be no way in hell he'd catch up at that pace. Pam legs it back to the house, only for Reggie's granddad to pay a visit. In every one of these films, at least one person gets thrown through a window. It's just gas. So Pam screams her head off and legs it away, and somehow trips. How do people keep tripping in this damn thing? Jason catches up and goes in for the kill when out of fucking nowhere comes Reggie on the slowest moving thing ever. Jason, you fucking dope, just move out of the fucking way. Just go to the left or go to the right. Ah, Jesus, he just got twatted by it. And of course, the two of them just stand over him like the dopes they are. And then of course he gets back up. Oh great, and just like part 3, we are off inside a feckin' barn, where Pam decides to suddenly become a badass. Jesus, she's busting the head off him. Go on, you good thing. Oh well, guess that's her dush now. But fuck, it's Tommy Boy! And he's like, Jason, where have you fucking been, lad? But he just stands there staring at him like a dope and ends up getting cut for it. And just when it looks like he's about to be killed, he stabs Jason in the leg before climbing up to the other two. Although he climbs up that thing like he's a wrestler in a ladder match. Meanwhile, Jason, who is a man who has been cut, stabbed, and run over, has no bother at all climbing up there. Also, why didn't they just wait and kick him off the ledge when he got up to the top? Well, he can't find anyone up there at all, besides Tommy's dushed body. But then he finds poor Reggie, and it looks like it's all over for him. That is until Pam batters him with a pipe, setting Reggie up for a sweet crossbody. But fuck, Jason isn't dushed yet. And Tommy rises from the grave and cuts Jason's hand, causing Jason to go whee all the way down to the spikes below. But wait a second, that's not Jason. Who the fuck is that lad? Well, we find out who the hell that is at the hospital when the sheriff tells Pam that it was Roy the paramedic from earlier, who randomly turned out to be Joey's dad. And he says he went daft after seeing his son's dead body and used Jason to cover it up. Yeah, because all that makes total sense. What the fuck? Anyway, Pam goes in to visit the bush Tommy Boy, and he wakes up and feckin' stabs her. But of course, it's a fucking dream because this is a Friday the 13th film. Oh, Jesus Christ, enough with the dreams! Tommy sees a vision of Jason at the end of his bed and then opens this drawer, which for no reason at all has the mask Roy used. Wouldn't the police have taken that away? Pam hears a smashed window and goes to investigate, only to find Tommy standing behind her with a feckin' knife, and the movie film is dushed. Well, this was one of the Friday films that I had never seen before, and I'm just going to say it now before we get into anything, that I'm happy I'd never seen it, as this film is fairly shite. But I guess we can talk about what I found good and bad about it. So let's start with the good. I guess going back to the whodunit from the first film is kind of interesting. They do give a lot of red herrings to make you think that it's Tommy under the mask killing everyone. So it kind of starts off like they are going to do something different, but then it just becomes a kill fest. Also, the reveal at the end is kind of crap. I think it's even worse than Mrs. Voorhees just showing up in the first one. But other than that, I guess some of the kills are okay. Like the belt bit is a creative kill, and the flare I guess. But that's about it. And yeah. That's it for the positives on this one, so let's lay into this film with the bad. Jesus Christ, the plot of this is terrible, and there barely even is a plot. But let's break this down. So Tommy goes to this random place for messed up teenagers and begins to see Jason about the place. And while this is happening, some random lad gets killed by another lad who is taken away to prison for it. Then everyone who was at the house, including some randomers, start to get killed in town. And we are led to believe that it is Tommy doing it, as the trauma of killing Jason has caused him to become a killer himself. But in the end, it's not Tommy, but Roy the fucking paramedic. And it turned out that the lad killed at the start was his son, so he killed everyone for revenge for that. What? It makes no fucking sense. Why would Roy go around killing people when the guy who killed his son got arrested? That's not getting revenge for your son. That's just being a crazy person. He doesn't even go and kill the guy who actually did it, so the actual murder gets off easy by just going to prison. Couldn't the people in the house have been involved in his son's death or something, and the doctor running the place covers it up to protect them? You know, give Roy some reason as to why he starts killing everyone. And why does he kill random people who have nothing to do with the house? Like, what did any of these people do to deserve being killed? It's so stupid when you stop to think about it. And another thing that is stupid in this are all the characters. No one is likable in this at all. Well, maybe besides Reggie. They're all so stupid and poorly acted, it's insane. Like, why are these hillbilly characters in this film besides to have more bodies to kill? Oh, it's just all so bad. And it's such a shame after we had such great characters in the final chapter. Melanie Kinnaman as Pam is so bad in the last act of this film, it is shocking. And John Shepherd as Tommy is probably even worse. I know he's meant to have PTSD, but Jesus, give the character some sort of life. Most of the kills in this are cutaway kills. Like, you see something raised and then it comes down and we cut away from it before seeing any of the gore. It really neuters the film, which is really weird because this film has the most kills out of any of the films so far. And yes, having kills in your slasher is a must, but when there are no characters or story behind it, they just don't matter. Like, once this film gets going, it's just kill after boring kill with no plot in it. It just becomes so repetitive after a while that you just don't care. Also, this film can feel like you were watching porn at times, between the whole plot, bad writing, awful acting, and all the TNA in this. Well, it was directed by our former porn director, so that makes sense. I mean, there's usually a ton of sex in these type of films, so I guess I can't knock it too hard for that, but it just stands out so much in this one. I could go on about how crap this film was personally for me, but I'd be here all day, and I honestly don't want to talk about it much longer. So I'm just going to say that I give Friday the 13th, A New Beginning, 1 out of 5 Horshes. By far, the worst Friday film yet. So what do you think of Friday the 13th, A New Beginning? Do you think it's one of the weaker ones like I do, or do you have a soft spot for this one? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you next time when we horse into another movie film.